Hi everyone. I wanted to take a second. I know I've done this before, talk about student learning goals, but I wanted to give it to you in a video where you could fast forward, rewind, and review it a couple times so it sinks in. The difference between a student learning goal and an achievement goal is this. None of these are student learning growth goals. Okay, none of these work. 100% of this group of students will score 80% or more on an assessment. 8 out of 10 will score a level 5 on a rubric. All of my students will complete this project. Half of the group will increase by 25%. None of those work. When I look at a student growth goal, I can look at it within, honestly, just a second, and I can tell whether it's going to work or not. You have to have two things. You have to have the word all, or 100%. And you have to indicate some kind of growth, either a nominal number of growth or a percentage. So it has to be some kind of growth or increase, either a number, or percent. So when I'm thinking about all and growth, I look at these statements again. Hey, this has all, has 100%. Of this group of students will score 80% or more on assessment. That doesn't include growth. It just says that they're going to score. Doesn't work. 8 out of 10 will score a level 5 on rubric. As soon as they see this 8 out of 10, it's out. Has to be all. All my students will complete this project. Completing a project is not showing me the growth or increase. Half of the group will increase by 25%. Hey, it has increased by 25%, but the word half doesn't work. Goal has to have two things, all and growth. Let's give some examples. First, you need a data set, okay? So here's my data set. 8, 10, 17, 22, 30, 32, 46, 50. This could be a number of sight words. This could be reading fluency in a minute. This could be the score of an assessment. Okay, this is some kind of initial data. Let's say they're sight words. Now I'm looking at my list and I'm thinking, okay, how much do I want these students to increase their sight words by the end of the year? Well, the problem is you've got some low numbers and some high numbers. But let's just say that you want all of your students to increase by 20 sight words by the end of the year. So that means you're hoping this student goes from 8 to 28. This student goes from 50 to 70. Okay, so let's say that. So my goal is going to be all of my students increase by 20 sight words. Okay, that's your goal. All increase by 20 sight words by the end of the year. Then there's these 4 boxes on your sheet. This one says does not meet. This one says like improvement necessary. This one says effective. And this one says highly effective. Now, your goal is all of them are going to increase. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 students in this group. What would be highly effective? You get to decide. Okay, you're going to challenge yourself. Highly effective would probably be all 8 of them. So my highly effective is all students increase by 20 sight words. 8 of them, you're saying you're highly effective. How about effective? I don't know, maybe 6. Maybe needs improvement, maybe 4. How about does not meet? Maybe 2 students. You start with all, and then you break it down into these 4 categories. Here's another way you could do this. Sometimes, let's say you've got these interventions for these students that are in the 8, 10, 17, 22 category. But let's say you're trying out something new and you really have some great ideas on how some of the students that already have a foundation can really increase. So let's say you're only gonna focus on these 4 students at your group. For the goal, you're not gonna include this as your part of your data set, just this. Now I'm gonna say all these students are gonna increase by, you've got some great ideas you're gonna do. You think you can increase this group by 40. All the students are gonna increase by 40. Highly effective, all 4. Effective, maybe 3. Improvement, maybe 2. Does not meet, maybe 0 or 1. Okay, so you can choose how much of the data set you want. It's really helpful to have at least 4 or 5. You know, this really was designed for teachers that have classrooms, 25, and it's hard if students move. Okay, so this works. The other thing that I'll show you is using a rubric. Now, at first this seems weird, but the people that have, over the years, that have started using rubrics, they keep them every year because they're more meaningful and they're more real. So, let's say that you have a rubric that is something to do with, it doesn't even have to be academic, it could be behavior, could be attendance, anything that's gonna grow. Let's say this is some kind of behavior rubric. And this is never, this is sometimes, this is most of the time, and this is all the time. You've got things like, listen, follows instructions, works great with peers. You've got this big rubric. And let's say this one right here is just this, follows instructions. You do a snapshot rubric at the beginning of the year, see where your students are. And let's say you find out that your students could really use some growth in following instructions. So you've got some students that are at 1s and 2s and 3s. You don't have anyone that's a level 4. This entire rubric, you may just decide you're gonna look at one row. Here's your goal. Here's your student learning goal, growth goal. All students will increase by 1 level on the rubric, following instructions. Okay? So you got 10 kids. Let's say you have 10 students. And they're a mix of 1s and 2s and 3s. Never follow instructions, sometimes and most. Your goal is all students are going to increase by 1 level on the rubric. So then you're going to get another snapshot. Maybe your next data set is in May. And in May, you're going to fill out the rubric on these guys. Remember, I said you have 10 students. And so all students are going to increase by 1 level out of 10. Highly effective, that might be like 8. So if 8 of them can increase by 1 level, then you're saying you're highly effective. Maybe 7, 5, 3. You're setting those levels on kind of challenging yourself. So that's a little snapshot on how to write a student learning growth goal. Again, all and an increase by or grow by a number or a percentage. All right, take a look at that. See what you come up with.